Event Planning English, Your Guide to Success. Introduction. Imagine a party that goes perfectly. People are happy, music plays, and everything works well. It feels good, right? This good feeling comes from working hard, planning carefully, and talking clearly. Planning events is like a skill. It mixes ideas with making things happen. The main goal is to make things run smoothly. But we know that behind every good event, there is a lot of work. You need to make plans, check details, and talk to many people. It is a good job, but it can also be hard. Sometimes, even if you speak English well, the words for planning events can be different. Think about talking to a place owner about how many people fit in a room, or talking to someone who makes food about what people can eat. If you don't know the right words, things can get mixed up fast. You might not be able to say what you need, or you might not understand what the other person says. This can cause small problems, like a wrong order, a late delivery, or a customer who is not happy. These mix-ups can be stressful and hurt the event. It's not about not knowing English. It's about not knowing the right English for this job. This is where event planning English helps. It's not just for talking. It's special words and ways of talking that event planners use. Think of it as your important tools for planning events. When you use event planning English, everyone knows what to do. From finding the best place to checking small decorations. It helps you sound good and be trusted. It makes planning easier because there are fewer mistakes, and it makes you feel sure you can handle any problem. Knowing these special words helps you plan and run better events. This is especially true when you work with people who speak English. This book will be your helpful friend. We will go through all the important steps of planning an event. I will show you the English words you need for each step. You will learn words for talking to people who provide services, like food makers, decorators, and sound people. We will talk about writing clear emails. We will talk about schedules and money, and what to say when problems happen. We will focus on the words that help you organize and manage everything. When you finish this book, you will feel more sure that you can talk well. You can manage your events well, and make great events for people who speak English. So, are you ready to learn how to plan events more easily? Do you want to talk with confidence and make your event ideas real? Let's start this fun journey. Turn the page. Let's build your event planning English skills. 1. Learning English for event planning. Planning a party, especially one where English is used by the people you work with, is like leading a band. Everyone must play their part well, and the leader must tell them clearly what to do. If the leader's words are not understood, even a little, the music can be messy. This is why learning the right English, the special words for planning parties, is very, very important. Think about it. You bring together many different people and helpers. People who cook food, people who make things look nice, musicians, the people who run the place, and the technical team. Each group speaks a language, and for parties, that language is often English. If you cannot speak their language well, or if they don't understand what you need, small problems can become big problems. A simple mistake about how many chairs are needed might mean guests have to stand. A missed detail about what people can or cannot eat could cause a big problem for a guest. These are not just small problems, they can change how the whole party feels, from happy to stressed and confused. This is why we call it party planning English. It is the special words and sentences that help us make sure everything goes well, like a band that has practiced a lot. It means when you say blue balloons, everyone knows exactly what color blue, how many, and where they should go. Normal English is a good start, of course. Knowing how to say hello, thank you, and ask for directions is important every day. But planning parties is a job with its own special way of speaking and its own words. It's not just talking, it's about making sure everything is set up just right, signing papers, and managing many different things. Imagine trying to explain a detailed list of costs or agree on a price using only simple talking words. It would be like trying to build a house with only a hammer and no nails. You need the right tools for the job. Party planning English gives you those special tools. It's the words you use to talk about papers, costs, times, where people sit, sound systems, and much more. It's the language that lets you be professional, clear, and sure of yourself when you talk about the small details that make a party truly special. This is where the good things happen. When you start to learn and use these special words and sentences, something wonderful begins to change inside you. That worried feeling you might have before talking to a new helper? It starts to go away. The fear of not being understood. It disappears. Learning party planning English is not just about remembering words. It's about building a strong feeling of being able to do it. When you know the right way to ask for a price, to say that something is booked, or to explain what a client wants, you feel more in control. You can use your energy for the creative ideas and the detailed planning instead of struggling to talk. This feeling of being able to do it is catching. It makes clients feel safe with you and helpers feel respected and understood. This helps make the party work well together and be a success. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria was very good at decorating parties, with many creative ideas and a good eye for what looks nice. She had a chance to work on a big party for people from different countries. In that city, most of the clients and helpers spoke English as their first language. Maria's normal English was okay. She could talk about everyday things. But when she needed to talk about contracts, the technical needs for lights, or agree on delivery times with a big food company, she had trouble. She remembers one time very well. She needed to say that the client wanted a very specific dark green color for the tablecloths, not just any green. She tried to explain it, but the helper kept showing her lighter, brighter greens. The talk became frustrating for both of them, and Maria felt a wave of worry. She was afraid she was not good enough, that her English was holding her back. Finally, with a lot of showing with her hands and a helpful friend's help, they figured it out. But the stress of that moment stayed with her. She knew that while her decorating skills were strong, her ability to explain those designs clearly and professionally in English was a problem. She decided right then that she needed to learn the special language of her work. She started looking for ways to learn, focusing on words for talking about prices, making things clear, and describing technical things. She practiced saying things like, "Could you show me a piece of cloth in a deep green color, like in a forest?" Instead of just, "I want dark green." She learned to ask, "How long will it take to get 200 of these?" instead of, "When can I have them?" This did not happen right away, but with each new sentence she learned and used well, her confidence grew. The next party she worked on was very different. She could talk to helpers with confidence, understand their offers clearly, and explain her creative ideas without waiting. The parties went more smoothly and her clients were very happy. Maria's story is a strong reminder that learning party planning English is not just about learning words. It's about using all your skills as a party planner. So, what are some of those important times when language can make a party good or bad? Let's look at a few common situations. Imagine you are finishing the food plans for a wedding. The couple has special food needs for some of their guests. One cannot eat nuts, another is a vegetarian, and a third needs food without gluten. If you cannot clearly tell the food helpers these exact needs, there is a real chance of serious health problems or deep sadness for the guests. A simple mistake like, "They can't eat nuts," might not be enough. You need to be able to say, "We have a guest with a bad nut allergy who needs a meal with no nuts at all, cooked separately to avoid any contact." Or, when talking about the costs, you might agree on a price for decorations. But if the English used is not exact, you might end up with a bill that is much higher than thought because some things were included that you did not know about. For example, if you agreed to a cost of $5,000 for flowers, it sounds clear. But if the helper thinks that is just for the flowers and then charges extra for the vases, bringing them, and setting them up, you have suddenly spent too much. The right words might be, the total cost for flowers, including bringing them and setting them up, is $5,000. These are not just small language differences. They are important points where mistakes can lead to much more money spent. Or, worse, safety problems and unhappy guests. Another very important area is the way we speak and the style of language we use. In everyday life, we might use slang, short words, or talk very casually. But in party planning, especially when talking to helpers, clients, or suppliers, how you speak matters a lot. It's about being professional. Using formal or semi-formal English shows you respect the other person and the business deal. It shows you are serious, organized, and can be trusted. For example, instead of saying, "Hey, can you get me the stuff for the party by Friday?" A professional way to say it would be, "Could you please say that the equipment will be brought by Friday afternoon?" This difference in how you say it shows a higher level of seriousness and respect. It also helps to avoid confusion. When you use more formal language, you tend to be more exact. You are less likely to use unclear words and more likely to clearly state what you need, what you expect, and when it needs to be done. This exactness is the base for successful party planning. It makes sure everyone is thinking the same way, working towards the same goal, with a clear understanding of their jobs and what they need to do. It is this careful use of language that builds trust and makes sure a party goes not just smoothly, but with a feeling of expert skill. Learning party planning English is like building the main structure for every successful party you will ever plan. It is the base on which all your creative ideas, plans for how things will work, and working with helpers will stand. Without this clear, exact, and professional language, even the best party idea can fail. It is the bridge that connects your idea to what happens, making sure every small detail is understood and done perfectly. Now that we understand how very important it is to learn party planning English, we can start to look at the special areas where these skills will help the most. The next part will look at the important words and sentences you need for your very first talks, talking with clients and understanding what they want. 2. Communicating with event vendors. When you plan a party, you think about more than just pretty things and music. You also work with many people who help make your party happen. These are your helpers, like the people who make food, arrange flowers, fix sound, and manage the place. Talking to them well in English is very important for a good party. This is where party planning English is useful. It's the special way of talking that helps you say exactly what you want, understand their offers, and make sure everyone knows what to do. Let's think about a time. I remember planning a big company party a few years ago. We hired a great food company, and it seemed like everything was going well. But on the day of the party, the main food was not what we had agreed on. It turned out there was a mistake about the fish choice. I had asked for a certain kind of fish, but they made a mix of seafood, which was not good for some important guests who couldn't eat certain things. It was a worrying time, but luckily, we could fix it quickly. This taught me something very important. Talking clearly and exactly with helpers is not just good, it's a must. It's the bridge that connects what you imagine to what happens, and without it, even the best plans can have problems. Talking with party helpers, think of helpers as the building blocks for your party. They bring the important parts: the food, the sound, the lights, the place itself. To build something great, You need to talk to each of these helpers clearly. This means using the right words, the right sentences, and knowing how to ask the right questions. Party Planning English gives you these tools. It's about making sure your message is understood perfectly, so they can give you exactly what you need, when you need it, and for the price you can pay. First contact and asking questions. Your first talk with a helper sets how things will go. Whether you call them or send an email, you need to sound ready and organized. The goal here is to say who you are and about your party, and then say clearly what you want. This helps them know if they are right for your party and lets them give you true information. When you first reach out, it's good to start with a nice greeting. For an email, you can write, "Hello helper's name or team," or to whom it may concern, if you don't know a specific person. If you call, a simple "Hello, my name is your name and I'm calling from your company," if you have one, works well. Then, you need to say why you are calling. You can say something like, "I'm planning a party and I am interested in what you do." It's important to give them a few main details right away, so they can start thinking about what you need. What kind of party is it? When is it? How many people are you expecting? For example, you could say, "I am putting together a wedding party for about 150 people on October 26th. We are looking for a place that can hold this many people and also provide food." When you ask about specific things, use clear words. Instead of saying "we need something to eat," be specific. You might ask, "Do you provide full food service?" Or "What are your plans for company lunches?" Here are some useful sentences for first contact and asking questions. To say who you are. "Hello, my name is your name and I plan parties. I am calling to ask about your services for a party coming up. I found your company on the internet and I really like your work." To say your party details. We are planning a type of party, like a new product event, a birthday party, a meeting on date. The party will be in city area. We think about number people will come. The party will be from start time to end time. To ask about services, "Can you please tell me about your food options?" You need a place that can hold at least number people. Do you have sound and light equipment for talks? What kind of flower decorations do you have for weddings? I want to get a price for your party staff. To ask for information or offers. Can you send me your booklet or a list of what you do? We would like to get an offer for specific service, like your wedding plan. Are you free on date? The words you use here are important. Words like hold, number of people, services, plans, price, and offer are common in party planning. Knowing these words helps you sound like you know what you're doing and makes it easier for the helper to understand what you need. What are the most common types of helpers party planners work with, and what are the unique English talking challenges with each? Party planners work with many kinds of helpers, each with their own special words and needs. Places. These are the spots where parties happen. Talking about them often involves understanding papers, how many people fit, when to set up and clean up, and what is included. You need sentences like, "What do you charge to rent a place on a Saturday night?" Or "Does the rental price include tables and chairs?" Food providers. They bring food and drinks. Here, being exact is very important. You need to talk about food lists, what people can't eat like no gluten, for vegans, nut allergies, how food is served buffet, served to your seat, food stands, and drink plans. Sentences like, "We need to check the main food for vegetarians," or "Can you make a special meal for Jewish people?" Sound and light companies. They handle sound systems, microphones, projectors, screens, and lights. Technical words can be hard. You might need to ask about projector quality, types of microphones worn on the neck, held, or light setups. Clear talking about what speakers or performers need is very important. We need a projector that connects with HDMI, or can you give us 2 wireless microphones for our speakers? decorators, and flower arrangers. They make the place look nice. You'll talk about ideas, colors, types of flowers, and how they are arranged. Sentences like, "We want a natural look with lots of green plants," or "Can you make a flower arch for the ceremony?" are common. Entertainers. This includes DJs, bands, speakers, and performers. You'll talk about what they play when they perform, what they need, and how much they cost. What kind of music do you usually play for a company party? Or do you need a special power outlet? Car companies. For buses, fancy cars, or car services. You'll confirm where to pick up and drop off, times, and what kind of cars. We need a bus from the hotel to the place at 6 p.m. Or please confirm the booking for a car for 10 people. Printing and sign companies. For invitations, programs, big signs, and signs that show the way, you need to be exact about sizes, materials, and when they need to be done. We need 200 invitations printed by next Friday, or can you make a big sign with our company's picture? The challenge with each type of helper is not just using the right words, but also understanding their special language. This is where Party Planning English helps you ask questions to make things clear and make sure you don't miss any details. Talking about prices and confirming details. Once you find a helper you like, the next step is to talk about the details and agree on what will happen. This is where your skill in talking about prices and confirming things clearly comes in. You need to be able to talk about costs, what exactly they will do, and when things need to happen. When you talk about prices, it's important to be direct but nice. You might say, "What is the total cost for the plan we talked about?" Or "Can you show me the costs for each part?" Sometimes you might need to talk about the price. If a price is a bit too high, you can ask, "Can the price be changed a little?" Or there are ways to make the cost lower, maybe by changing the food or the number of hours. It's also very important to confirm exactly what you are getting. Don't guess. If a food provider says they give full service, ask what that means. Does it include setting up, serving, and cleaning? If a place says they have sound and light equipment, ask what specific things are there. Here are some sentences for talking about prices and confirming details. For talking about money and prices. What is the price for this service? Can you give me a detailed price list? We have about amount to spend on this. Can you work with that? Are there any hidden costs or extra charges I should know about? How do you want to be paid? For making services and needs clear, can you please confirm exactly what is in this plan? When will the setup be finished on the day of the party? What time can we come to the place to decorate? Please confirm the food needs we talked about. List them. We need the sound system to be checked at least 1 hour before the party starts. For confirming agreements. So, to confirm, you will provide service for number people on date at time, for a total cost of amount. I will send you an email with what we talked about to make sure we both understand. Please send me a written paper that lists all the things we agreed on. How can using clear, action-oriented English sentences help stop costly mistakes and make sure helpers give exactly what is wanted? Clear, action-oriented English sentences are like a clear map. They don't leave room for guessing. When you use exact words, you are telling the helper exactly what you need, and they are saying they understand. This stops mistakes that can cause problems later. For example, if you just say, "We need some decorations," a decorator might bring anything. But if you say, "We need a centerpiece for each of our 15 tables," with a natural look using sunflowers and rough cloth, the decorator has a clear idea. They know how many, the style, and the exact things. This makes it less likely they will bring modern, shiny decorations when you wanted something natural and earthy. In the same way, with food, saying we need vegetarian options is not clear. but saying, "We need 3 main food options for vegetarians, 1 pasta dish with no meat, 1 lentil pie, and 1 stuffed bell pepper dish," gives the food provider clear instructions. This makes sure that guests who can't eat certain things will have good food instead of just a plain salad. When you confirm details, you are making a record of what you agreed on. Sentences like, "To confirm, the delivery is at 2 p.m. and setup will take about 1 hour," create a clear expectation. If the helper is late, you have something to look back at. If they bring the wrong things, you can refer to your confirmed agreement. These action-oriented sentences are the base of good talking with helpers. They turn vague wishes into clear needs, making sure that the services you pay for are exactly the services you get. Managing what to expect and fixing problems. Even with the clearest talking, sometimes things don't go exactly as planned. Helpers might have unexpected problems, or your party plans might need to change. In these moments, your ability to talk calmly, clearly, and 3. Creating event plans and schedules. An event is not just something that happens. It is a journey that is planned very carefully. Your event plan is like the map for this journey. Think of it like the drawings an architect makes for a building. Without these drawings, there would be a mess, confusion, and a building that is not strong. In planning events, this drawing is your event plan. It is the paper that shows everything you want to do, who you want to invite, and how you will make it all happen. When you work with people who speak English, using clear and simple English in your event plan is very important. It helps everyone understand the same thing from the beginning. What are the main parts of this drawing? Let's look at them using easy English. First, you need to say what you want to achieve. This is simply what you want the event to do. Do you want to celebrate something special? Do you want to show a new product? Do you want to get money for a good cause? You must say this clearly. For example, you could write, "The main goal of this meeting is to teach people about new ideas in our work." Or, for a wedding, "Our goal for this party is to honor the couple and make it a happy time for their families and friends." Next, think about who you want to come. Who is this event for? Knowing this helps you decide many things, like the food you will have or the music you will play. You can say this like, "The people we want to come to this class are people who own small businesses, and those who want to start one." Or, "We think young workers between 25 and 35 years old will come to this meeting to meet others." The money you have to spend is, of course, a very important part of any plan. It is the amount of money you can use. You need to be able to talk about this clearly. You can use phrases like, "The total money we can spend for this event is $10,000. Or, "We must make sure all the costs stay within the money we have agreed." The style gives your event a special feeling. It is the general mood or look. For a child's birthday party, it could be pirate fun. For a fancy company party, it could be movie star glamour. You can say it like this, "The style for our yearly party will be a night under the stars." Or, "We want a simple, natural style for the party outside after the wedding." The place is where your event will happen. This is a very important detail. You might say, "The place we have chosen is the Grand Ballroom at the City Hotel." Or, "We are still looking for places that can hold 200 people. And last, who are the important people involved? These are your main people. This could be the person who hired you, your boss, important people who give money, or even important leaders in your team. You would list them by saying, "The main people for this job are the CEO, the head of marketing, and the main person giving money." These words are the main parts of your event plan. Using them correctly in English makes sure that when you show your plan, everyone understands the main reason and direction of the event. It is the first step to making a dream real. Now, once the big picture is clear in your event plan, You need to look at the small details. This is where the event schedule comes in. If the event plan is the map, the schedule is the detailed step-by-step plan, showing you every turn, every stop, and how long you will be there. It is the main way to make sure things happen on time. For people who plan events, especially when working with teams or people from other countries who use English as their main language, a good schedule is a great help. It stops confusion, missed times, and that bad feeling when things go wrong at the last minute. There are different kinds of schedules, and knowing their English names helps. A master schedule is the big one, showing all the main steps from planning to doing. A run sheet, often used on the day of the event, is very detailed, listing every minute, every action, and who is in charge. A production schedule might focus only on the technical parts, like setting up sound and lights. And a timeline is a picture that shows when things need to happen. Let's focus on making a detailed schedule. You need to list your jobs, when they need to be done, and who is doing them. For example, you might have a job like set up the main stage. You need to give a time when it must be finished and a person to do it. In English, this can be said very simply. Job: decorate the welcome area. Time: it must be done by Friday, 10 p.m. Person in charge: Sarah Chen. You can write this in a more official way for your schedule paper. The welcome area must be decorated by Friday at 10 o'clock. Sarah Chen will do this job. When you are making these schedules, especially for people you hire, being clear is very important. Imagine you are hiring someone to cook. You don't just want them to know the date. You need them to know the exact time food needs to be served, what food it is, and if anyone has special food needs. Here is how you might write what is needed in an English schedule for a cook. Job: bring and set up the food for 150 people. Time: exactly 6 p.m. Place: main hall. Notes: make sure food for people who don't eat meat and people who cannot eat gluten is clearly marked. Person in charge: name of the cooking company. Or, for someone who handles sound. Job: check the sound for the main speaker. Time: 2:30 p.m. Speaker: Mr. David Lee. Person in charge: name of the sound company. The words here are direct and leave little room for mistakes. It is about using simple, active verbs and clear times. One of the English words that people who plan events sometimes find confusing when making schedules is the difference between by and it for deadlines. If you say the job must be finished by Friday, it means it can be finished anytime up to the end of Friday. If you say the job must be finished at 3 p.m. on Friday, it means it must be finished exactly at that time. Being exact in these small details is very important in event planning. Another area where simple, clear English is very important is in giving out jobs and setting what is expected. It is not enough to just list a job. You need to say how important it is and how it fits with everything else. Think about this. Instead of just writing, put chairs in place. You could write, please make sure all 200 chairs are in the room by 9 p.m. This is very important, so the first part of the event can start on time. Here, you have added the exact number of chairs, 200. The place, the room. The time, it must be done by 9 p.m. The reason it is important, very important, so the first part of the event can start on time. This last part, explaining why a job is important, is a powerful tool. It helps your team and the people you hire understand how their work affects things. It is about telling people how different parts depend on each other. When one job is late or done wrong, it can affect many others. By using words that show this, you build a stronger feeling of working together. For example, when telling your team or the people you hire about the schedule, you might say, The registration desk needs to be ready before the first guests arrive at 9 p.m. because this will be the first place they see. The cooking team must have the main food ready by 7:30 p.m. because this is when our main speaker will finish talking. The AV team needs to check the sound one last time at 1 p.m., making sure all microphones work perfectly for the talk that comes after. These phrases use simple English but mean a lot. They connect one job to another, showing how everything works together. They use words like very important, needed, essential, and main to show how important certain times and actions are. When you are building your event schedule in English, think about how things will happen one after another. Use clear headings for jobs, deadlines, and who is in charge. Simple lists or a table work best. Do not use long, difficult sentences. Keep it direct. Let's imagine a situation. You are planning a small meeting. You have someone to cook, someone to manage the place, and a small team helping you. You have made your event plan, and now you are working on the detailed schedule for the day of the event. You might have a section for the morning. Morning schedule meeting day 8 p.m. The place opens for setting up. Person in charge, place manager. Notes, make sure the main room and smaller rooms are ready. 8:30 a.m. The cooking team arrives and starts setting up the breakfast food. Person in charge, cooking team. Notes, coffee, tea, pastries, fruit. 9 a.m. The registration desk opens. Person in charge, team members Anna, Ben. Notes, welcome guests, give out name tags and papers. 9:30 a.m. Doors open for the main talk. Person in charge, place manager. Notes, make sure chairs are arranged. 10 a.m. The welcome talk begins. Person in charge, speaker MS. Clara Diaz. Notes, AV team to check that the microphone is working. See how simple and direct that is. Each item is a clear action with a time, who is in charge, and any important notes. This is the main idea of event planning English in action, making difficult plans easy to understand with simple words. Turning these plans into action is where the real magic happens. A well-made plan and schedule are your guides. They help you tell your team and the people you hire what to do clearly. When you give them a clear schedule, you are not just giving orders, you are giving them a path to success. For example, you might gather your team before the event and say, "Okay everyone, let's quickly look at the run sheet for today." As you can see on page 3, Anna and Ben, your main job is to manage the registration desk from 9 o'clock. It is very important that we welcome our guests in a friendly and quick way because this sets the mood for the whole meeting. Then, talking to the cooking team, you might say, to the cooking team, "Thank you for arriving at 8:30 a.m. Please make sure the breakfast food is all ready and available by 9 p.m. We need to make sure all the special food needs written in the schedule are clearly marked. This will help our attendees have a smooth start to their day." These are not just commands. They are clear instructions given with the whole event in mind. You are using event planning English to make sure everyone understands their part and why it matters. The schedule becomes a document that is used, a tool to see how things are going. As jobs are finished, they can be checked off. If something unexpected happens, you can look at the schedule to see what might be affected and how to change things. For instance, if the speaker is a few minutes late, you can look at your schedule and see that the next item is the AV team's sound check. You can then tell the AV team about the small delay, so they can change their timing or perhaps use that extra time for a better check. This way of acting before problems happen, made possible by a clear schedule, is what stops small issues from becoming big problems. The good thing about using simple, Direct English in your plans and schedules is that it makes people feel confident. When you can clearly say what needs to. 4. Managing event details. The good feeling of a successful event isn't just from the music or happy voices. It's from knowing that everything, even the smallest thing, is in the right place. Planning an event is like leading a big band. Every instrument and player has an important job. When you work with people who speak English, using the right words is like having the music sheet. It helps everyone play together perfectly. Think about a party after a wedding. You have the place, the food, the decorations, the music, the person taking pictures, the guests, and many other things. If you just tell the flower seller, "I want nice flowers," what does nice mean? Does it mean fancy roses, happy sunflowers, or simple green leaves? The seller might guess, but guessing can lead to mistakes. Mistakes can make the whole event less good. This is where event planning English is very useful. It helps you say exactly what you mean. Let's talk about some important details. When you look at a place for your event, you need to know its venue capacity. This means how many people can fit there safely and comfortably. Saying the place can hold 200 people is easy to understand. But if you need to be more exact, you can ask, how many people can sit down for a meal? Or how many people can stand around at a party? These questions help you find the right size place for your guests. Then there is the food. A catering package is a common idea. It means a set menu or a choice of foods the food seller offers. Instead of just asking for food, you can ask about food choices for people who don't eat meat in the regular package or the sweet choices in the special package. Using these exact words helps you know what you will get and what you will pay. What about the machines and lights? AV equipment means sound and video machines. This includes microphones, speakers, projectors, screens, and lights. If you are planning a meeting, you might need to talk about the microphones for the main stage or the picture quality of the projector for the talks. Knowing these words helps you talk clearly with the AV company. It makes sure speakers are heard well and pictures look clear. A run of show is the detailed plan for the event, step by step. It is the main guide for the event day. You might see a run of show like this: 6 p.m. Doors open, guests arrive. 6:30 p.m. Welcome talk. 7 p.m. Dinner starts. 8:30 p.m. Music begins. Talking about this plan is very important. You can tell your team, "Let's check the run of show to see if anything happens at the same time." Or you can tell someone providing a service, "Please have your work finished before the 6:30 p.m. welcome talk," as the run of show says. And what if things don't go as planned? That's when a contingency plan is needed. This is your backup plan. If your outdoor wedding ceremony gets rained on, your contingency plan might be to move the ceremony inside. You would talk about this with the place and the people providing services. What is our plan if the weather is bad for the ceremony? Is a very important question. Using exact words in event planning English doesn't just make you sound good. It helps stop problems before they happen. When you use specific words, there is less chance of misunderstanding. For example, instead of saying "we need the flowers by Saturday," you can say "we need the flowers delivered in." Set up by 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 15th. This tells the flower seller not just the day, but the time and what needs to be done. This level of detail helps the sellers know exactly what to do. It reduces mistakes and makes sure your event looks as good as you imagined. It's the difference between hoping for good things and making sure they happen. Now, let's talk about the most important part of working with others in event planning: writing things down and checking them. The words for contracts and deals. A promise is good, but a written deal is needed. It is your safety net and your guide. When you work with people providing services, Whether for a small party or a big company event, you will sign papers. These papers use special words for business and law. Understanding them is key to protecting yourself and making sure the service provider does what they promised. Let's look at some common words you will see in these deals. The scope of services explains exactly what the service provider will do. For someone taking pictures, this might be 8 hours of taking pictures, editing 500 photos, and sending digital copies. For a food provider, it would list the food, how it is served, and how many guests. The payment schedule is very important. It tells you when and how much you need to pay. It might be a deposit first, then a payment in the middle, and the last payment a week before the event. Knowing this helps you manage your money and avoid extra charges. The cancellation policy is something you hope you never need to use, but it is important to understand. It explains what happens if you or the service provider needs to end the deal. It will often say what money you get back or what penalties there are. Indemnification is a more difficult word. In simple terms, it means one person agrees to protect the other from losing money or facing legal problems. For example, a place might have a rule saying that the event planner is responsible for any damage to the place caused by the event. Besides the deal itself, you need to check details often. When you talk about something important with the service provider, it's good to send an email after. You can use phrases like, "As we agreed on date, we are confirming the booking of service. Please confirm you got this email and the updated number of guests. This email is to confirm the changes we agreed on for the food." These phrases create a record. They make sure that if there is ever a misunderstanding, you have proof of what was talked about and agreed on. This careful way of confirming, using clear English, builds trust and shows you are professional with the people you work with. It shows you are organized and serious about the event. This makes them want to work hard for you too. Now, let's talk about the most important part of any event: managing time, the English for plans and due dates. Events don't just happen, they are built step by step, with deadlines. A well-managed timeline is the difference between a smooth, nice event and a messy rush. In event planning, we talk about milestones. These are important points in the planning process. For example, booking the place might be a milestone, or finishing the guest list. Each milestone has a deliverable, which is what needs to be done to reach that milestone. The deliverable for booking the place is a signed contract. Every task and milestone has a due date. This is the date by which something must be finished. Telling people these due dates clearly is essential. You might tell your team, "The final money plan is due by Friday," or ask a service provider, "When is your due date for sending the plan for where people will sit?" The critical path is the order of tasks that must be done on time for the event to finish as planned. If any task on the critical path is late, the whole event timeline is at risk. Knowing and managing the critical path is a key skill. Talking about it makes sure everyone understands what is most important. A pre-event checklist is your best friend. It is a complete list of all the tasks that need to be done in the days and weeks before the event. You will use English to create and give out tasks on this checklist. Phrases like, "We need to finish the flower order by next Tuesday." The next important step is to confirm all speaker times by the end of this week. Are we on track for the sound and video machines to be delivered by Thursday? These questions and statements keep everyone focused and responsible. They make sure the planning keeps moving forward and that no important step is missed. Clear talk about timelines, using exact English, means that your service providers and your team know exactly what is expected of them and when. This way of planning ahead stops last-minute problems and makes the planning process more enjoyable for everyone. And finally, the part that often makes a good event a truly great one: planning for problems, getting ready for the unexpected with English. No matter how carefully you plan, things can happen. Rain on a sunny day, a service provider's car breaking down, a sudden loss of power. These are the times when your ability to think quickly and talk well in English can save the day. A backup option is your second choice if your first plan doesn't work. If your favorite band cancels, your backup option might be another band you found. You might ask your venue, do you have another room ready if the weather is bad for the outdoor ceremony? An alternative vendor is just that. Another company that can do the same service if your first choice cannot. You might have a list of other food providers in case your main one has a problem. An emergency contact is someone you can call right away if a problem happens. This could be an important person at the venue, a main person on your planning team, or even a trusted service provider. Having their phone number ready and knowing how to use it is very important. When talking about weather, you will talk about a weather contingency. This is a specific plan for how to handle different weather situations. For an event outside, this could mean having tents ready or a plan to move inside. What if scenarios or imagined situations you think about to get ready for possible problems? You might ask your team, what if the main speaker gets stuck in traffic? What is our what if scenario for that? This helps you think of solutions and make sure you have a plan for different possibilities. Talking about these plans ahead of time with your service providers and team is very important. You can say to your venue manager, we have talked about our weather plan. If it rains, we will move the party to the big room. Please confirm that room will be ready. Or to your AV team, if the power goes out, do you have a backup generator for the sound system? I remember once, for a big outdoor festival, our main stage sound system stopped working just 1 hour before the first band was supposed to play. People started to worry. But because we had talked about a what-if scenario for equipment failure, we knew our second choice for a service provider was ready. I called them right away using the emergency contact number we had, because I could clearly explain the problem and what we needed. We need a new PA system for a main stage, this size, for the next 12 hours, delivered right away. They understood how urgent it was. Within 2 hours, a new system was set up, and the show went on with only a small delay. That moment showed me how important exact event planning English is, not just for things to go smoothly, but for handling problems. By learning these exact English phrases and understanding the special words in contracts, event planners can create a strong way to manage every detail. This careful attention to detail, communicated well in English, makes events run smoothly. But the real skill of a successful event is in how we talk to and work with our teams and service providers. So, our next step is to learn the important English for working well with teams and service providers. Conclusion: you have finished this book. You spent time and effort to learn a very important skill, English for planning events. Think back to when you first started. Maybe you felt a little unsure about talking to people who supply things for events, or maybe you worried about explaining your good ideas clearly in English. Now, you are in a different place. You have learned the basics, a good set of words and phrases made for the busy world of planning events. You learned how to tell clients your ideas with confidence, making sure they understand your exciting plans. You learned the words to talk about important things with suppliers, from small decorations to big stages. You practiced the right words to make schedules that everyone can follow and to manage all the parts of an event. And it's important that you learned how to handle unexpected problems calmly and professionally, using the right English words to find solutions. This learning has given you your own strong set of English for planning events tools. The best part of English for planning events is that it makes things clear and builds trust. Imagine the difference between asking for something in a vague way and explaining it perfectly. That is the power you have now. It changes confusion into smooth teamwork. When you can talk clearly and with confidence to your suppliers, you make better, more trusted friendships with them. They understand what you need better and you feel more in charge. From the first talk with a client to the last thank you note, your good use of this special English makes sure every detail is understood, every hope is met, and every guest has a great time. You also learn the important organizing words, the special words and phrases that keep your work on track, your money in order, and your teams working well together. This is the secret to making events run very smoothly. This is not just about learning new words, it is about getting the confidence to lead, to agree on prices, and to make your events perfect. You will keep learning. The world of events is always changing, and the language used in it also changes. Think of this book as your starting kit for English for planning events. The more you use these phrases, the more natural and easy they will feel. Do not be afraid to use them. Use them in small talks, in emails, and in every event you plan. Look for chances to use your skills more. Read again the parts that were hardest for you and keep practicing. Talk to other people who plan events and have conversations. The more you use your English for planning events, the stronger it will become. With your better skills, you are ready to take on bigger jobs, get more clients, and do very well in the exciting field of planning events. This book was made to give you the exact English you need to work in event planning, making sure your events are not just good, but truly amazing. You have the knowledge, you have the tools, and now you have the confidence. Go and plan your next wonderful event. We wish you the very best in all your future work. May your events be done perfectly, your talking be clear, and your success be endless. Happy planning!